Hello everyone, I'm Lazygrouse and today we're taking a look at all the units and mechanics of the Lizardmen in SFO Grimhammer 2. The first unit is the Red-crested Skinks with shields and they're exclusive to Tichi-Huichi. They're very similar to the regular Red-crested Skinks, but with less melee attack and more melee defense and bronze shields. But they also lose almost all their armor-piercing damage, which is the biggest reason to use the Red-crested Skinks in my opinion. But if you want a sturdier unit of Skinks that focuses on holding the line rather than dealing damage, then these are your Skinks. They do have Frenzy to buff their offensive stats a bit, so as long as they got high leadership they're a bit deadlier, but they still struggle to deal damage against high armor units. The Ancient Ripperdactyl is a single entity Ripperdactyl that is exclusive to Tiktaq'to, and it's amazing at hunting down large units with great speed, good combat stats and anti-large and AP damage. It's also got really good charge bonus, and since it is a flying unit, its prey is unlikely to get the charge bonus, which gives it a big advantage. It also got Frenzy to make them even deadlier, and Blood Roar, which lowers the enemy leadership, and with Fear and Terror, things will rout fast when this guy is around. It is a bit of a glass cannon though, with only 30 armor, and with Primal Instincts, it can easily rampage into something it shouldn't and just die, so you have to be a little bit careful with it. It does have takeoff though, which causes an explosion and increases its speed, which helps it disengage and start flying again if it gets in a sticky situation. The Honour Guard of Hexoatl is a legendary unit of temple guards, and the name suggests that they're exclusive to Master Mundi, but all Lizardmen faction can recruit them as long as they control Hexoatl. So either way you have to confederate or conquer Hexoatl if you want to recruit them with anyone other than Master Mundi. As the Honour Guard of Hexoatl, they're of course the most elite Honour Guard, and as such they only have 20 unit models. But they also have much better offensive stats than other temple guards with more melee attack and about double the damage. But they are a bit different than other temple guards as well, since they have a bonus versus infantry instead of large. So they're a frontline anti-infantry damage dealer instead of an anti-large unit. They also have some abilities that buffs lords and heroes, which makes sense since they are the Honour Guard. Incantation of Hexoatl buffs your lords and heroes with speed, damage, leadership and attack, and Sky Wardens will give your lords and heroes missile resistance. They also have spawning vigor, which will keep their vigor high in long battles. And last we got the Tichi-Huichi Raiders, which is a Cold One Riders regiment of renown that replaces the Pokopak cohort. And they are much faster than the regular Cold One cav with much higher melee attack and charge bonus as well. They're a good anti-large cav that can screen against enemy cavalry or take down large monsters with their anti-large and good AP, and they got some good abilities that makes them deadlier and more mobile. Old One's protection gives them leadership, speed, acceleration and vigor if they're losing in combat, so they can disengage much easier if they need to. And Vision debuffs melee defense and speed of enemy lords and heroes, which makes them great character hunters. And they have Feral Call, which gives them and nearby allies more damage and attack. And that's all the units, and they don't get a lot of them, but they do get some pretty interesting additions to their campaigns. So first of all, the biggest addition is probably alignment. Alignments are a new currency that all the sub-factions have access to, and they all have their own way of generating and using it. But we'll get to how when we talk about the individual sub-factions. Alignments can also be used to give blessings to blessed units, which is a strong buff that functions similarly to the Greenskin Scrap upgrade. Each kind of blessed units have their own set of 3 different blessings each. Another big change for the Lizardmen is their tech tree. It has been completely overhauled, and I won't go through all the technologies here since we have other things to get to. There is also a currency that is new to most Lizardmen, and it's generated and spent in the tech tree. The currency is Favor of the Old Ones, and it's generated by researching capstone tech. There's 8 of them in total, 1 for each tech tree of course, so no matter what you want to focus on in the tech tree, you will still get to generate Favor of the Old Ones. Favor is spent on their own technologies that are generally stronger than normal technologies, but since you have to get to capstone tech, you will generally get them later in the campaign. The geomantic web has also been improved. The effect it has on the commandments have been increased, and the commandments are generally stronger with a bunch of extra effects. The alignment of crafting now increases growth, tax rate, casualty replenishment, magic item drop chance faction-wide, and lowers upkeep for Slann faction-wide. Alignments of monuments increases research, lower upkeep and construction cost, and lowers cooldowns for all spells and bolts and blessings of the Old Ones faction-wide. Alignment of order gives public order and untainted, lower plague duration and spread faction-wide, lower enemy action success chance faction-wide, gives armies in the province the Holy Stella ability, and physical resistance for all Slann faction-wide. And Alignment of War gives unit experience faction-wide, leadership and weapon strength in province, weapon strength under siege faction-wide, local recruitment capacity and weapon strength to all Slann faction-wide. And each of the commandments also generate an extra alignment at tier 5. They have also gotten some new buildings, with the healing building chain increasing growth in adjacent provinces, lowers upkeep, bonus replenishment both locally and faction-wide, vigor loss reduction for characters faction-wide, and blessed unit damage faction-wide. And they also got the magic support chain, which gives some income, wins some magic faction-wide, research and lord and hero recruit rank. They also got a new stance, the Battle March, which increases the upkeep of the army but also increases missile strength and melee attack. It does replace the normal stance, but if you don't want to pay extra while moving around, you can always use the channeling or astromancy stances. That's all the general stuff, so let's get into the legendary lord stuff. Mastamundi generates his alignment by just staying alive, because his faction gains more alignment for each Slan they control. And he gets magic item drop chance, technology, magic resistance for blessed units, cooldown and more uses for ruination of cities just from having alignment. And the more alignment you have, the stronger the buffs get. And if you have 50 plus alignment, you get the ability Geomantic Guardians that allows you to summon a unit of temple guards during battle. So you'll want to hold off a bit with spending your alignment and keep it as high as possible. But when you do want to spend your alignment, Mastamundi got the star reading mechanic where you can spend alignment for various buffs. There's 3 categories: campaign, battles and economy, and each category has 3 tiers of cost. Campaign gives general campaign buffs that makes you better on the campaign map, like campaign movement, growth and replenishment. Battles gives you buffs that makes you stronger in battle, just as it sounds, like buffing your units in various ways or make your casters better, like increasing winds of magic or lower miscast chance. And economy increases your income from various sources or just makes things cheaper, so depending on what you're doing, different buffs will net you more money than others. Kroq-gar generates alignment from fighting battles and dispenses alignment on Vengeance of Hexoatl, which costs 50 alignment and gives him a quest. This quest gives him money, his character gets XP and you get a magical item, so if you keep fighting to keep that alignment rolling in, you can get a lot of money and magical items from just doing these quests. He can also spend alignment to give his normal dinosaurs warpaint, which gives them some nice buffs and works like the blessings mentioned earlier. And each kind of dinosaur will have 2 different warpaints to choose from. And between warpaints and blessings for blessed units, you can customize most of your army, especially considering that you will want a lot of dinosaurs in Kroq-gar's army. Tehennowin's alignment generation has been baked into his existing mechanic, Sacrifices to Sotek, where the sacrifices with permanent duration now generates alignment per turn, so the further you get into the Sacrifice to Sotek pyramid, the more alignment you generate. His sacrifices has also gotten some tweaks and additional effects. He spends his alignment in the technology tree on some unique technologies. It looks like the technologies cost old one's favor, but it's just visual and actually cost that much alignment. The top tree gives economical bonuses and the lower tree buffs your skink lords and heroes. He also got a unique sacrifice building chain that generates sacrificial offerings. It also generates public order, post-battle capture, faction-wide, replenishment and melee and range damage. Tiktaq'to also gets alignment from fighting battles and is spends it on Masteries of Tilaaqua. Masteries of Tilaaqua is an event that you can trigger by hitting a button next to the end turn button. Mastery of Stealth gives you an ability that makes your units faster with better acceleration and stalk, and you also get campaign movement range, line of sight and ambush success chance. Mastery of Ripperdactyls gives you the ability to summon Ripperdactyls, magic item drop chance, less attrition and income from sacking. And Mastery of Refill gives you the ability to replenish ammo map wide, hero success chance, replenishment and recruitment cap. Tiktaq'to can also spend alignment on his new buildings, the Lookouts. You can only build 1 per province and each one uses 1 alignment per turn, and all of them grants you some strong local and faction-wide bonuses. Nakai generates alignment from the main horde buildings and it's spent in his tech tree, and since he had his own unique tech tree since before, he doesn't get to use the new Lizardmen tech tree. And since he has his original tech tree, he generates favor of the old ones normally as he did before. He does have a bunch of new technologies that needs alignment to research, and they mainly buff Nakai and other Kroq-gars, but it also gives you the ability to summon Nakai to aid defensive battles when he's not in the same province. He also got the ability to use underway stances, so he got a new movement option, which is badly needed since he is a horde, so movement is incredibly important. Gor-rok generates alignment from skills in Lord Kroq's skill tree, and Lord Kroq also has an extended skill tree with a bunch new skills, many of which have faction-wide effects. He can then spend his alignment in Saurus Old Blood skill tree that makes Saurus units much stronger. But he's also fine just hoarding it, since the more he has stored, the stronger Lord Kroq becomes. Hexoatl generates alignment from buildings in his secret sanctum and is spent on a unique technology that gives him ward save when fighting against chaos, some untainted, global recruitment, more ward save and free recruitment of chameleons. He also spends alignment on banners available to the generic lord skill trees, and each of the generic lord types have access to different banners, but they all have some pretty good ones. And that's all the Lizardmen units and mechanics, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!